Okay, there we are.
Perfect.
Good afternoon. One sec. There we go. Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, whatever it might be for you in the world. Welcome to this webinar where I am streaming out from Croydon Town in South London to a group of very beautiful people that I'm seeing on my screen ahead of you. Just apologies for a few technical delays. Sometimes we get them just before we started. As David would say, he's from South Africa, the technicalities are fixed. My name is Michael Carroll, and today I am a multitasker, which is good, really, because that's what NLP is all about being able to do many things at the same time. Now, when I was putting the finishing touches to my PowerPoint that we're going to show you this evening to go through, I got really, really, really excited, you know, because we really have got a treat for you lined up. And it's kind of like, when you've booked your holiday, yeah, and you've got everything sorted out or nearly sorted out, and you're beginning to pack the cases, it kind of gets to you that you're really doing it, you know? I'm in that packing the cases phase, although we've got 5 or 6 weeks to go, you know, getting everything together, you know, and you're a part of this wonderful experience. I apologize for the delay. I'm here on my own tonight. I just apologize for keeping you waiting a couple of minutes. But all give me a big wave, please. Give me a big, big wave. Now, don't be camera shy, guys. Do not be camera shy. If you haven't got that camera on, I want to see your beautiful faces on that screen. So do not be camera shy, unless, of course, you're driving. You know, I don't want you to get in any trouble when you're driving down the road. I know a few people who have done that, and that, you know, it's not advised. So I'll just introduce you to a few people. So, I mean, thanks, David. He's our technical man. He's working remotely. Tonight, we got Spanish translation from Nicole. So put your hand up if you are hearing me via Nicole's voice. So you hear me in Spanish. So there's a delay on this translation and there's a delay on the system. Is anyone hearing this in Spanish? I know Spanish people booked. So Lenore, buenas tardes or dias, different parts of the world. So, and Rui's translating into Portuguese. So let me see if you are getting a translation in Portuguese. You can put your hand up. I need to see the chat box actually, Dave, please. There you go, Rita. So bom tarde to Rita. So Dave, you can open up the chat box for me. Now, the rest of you, if you want to hit, when the people, thank you, when the people ask me questions, they're Spanish or Portuguese, you just need to be in the English interpretation room, then you will hear the translation of the question, unless, of course, you speak Spanish. Hands up if you're coming to Portugal. Show me your hands if you are coming to Lagos in Portugal. So I'll be seeing you in the flesh. Show me your hands. You can use your electronic hand, actually. Hello, Tarek. Nice to see you there, mate. I know I can't see you, but nice to see your electronic hand. So put your hand up if you're going to Lagos in Portugal. Very, very, very good. It'll be a pleasure to see you there. If you've got white skin like this, right, this skin is no good for international travel. Yeah, so I am factor 50. Bring the factor 50 with you because it does get hot down there. Now, how many of you who got your hands up who are coming to Lagos already speak Portuguese? Show me your hands. You already have to take your hat. So correct. Karen speaks. I think she's out. We'll talk to Karen in a moment. Tarek, you speak Portuguese, or you just left your hand up from before? Okay. How many people are taking a course online? Show me your hand. Or partially online. So Salim, Byron. Hi, Byron. We've got your email. Who else is online? Sam. Hey, mate. Hey, Sam. How you doing? Nice to see your face. Chandy. How you doing, Chandy? Nice to see your face as well. You'll be coming here as well. Okay, so partly online. How many people, I know a couple of people, how many people are coming to the center of the known universe? Do you know where the center of the known universe is? Do you know where that is? Right here. How many people are coming to the one and only Croydon? Got all those hands going up. I know 4 people. So we got Chandni who is coming, and there's Chandni. How you doing? Okay, the other lady's not here. And Satya's coming to Croydon as well. Dr. Satya. Hey, Satya, how are you? So you can wave at Chandni. So we've got 4 people coming. There are 2 coming to the center of the known universe. It's a shame I won't be here. One of the main attractions. Well, possibly the only attraction. Same old jokes. I'll be off in Portugal, but my colleague Laurie, who's not online because she's in Australia at the moment, she'll be facilitating this satellite. Now, I'm going to go into all the options in a moment. It's just a pleasure to see you. Or how many people go to Canada? I think, Byron, you said you're going to Canada earlier. We've got Jackie Nagy down there. She's our facilitator in Canada. I'm going to introduce the satellite traders in a moment because it's an amazing thing that we are doing here. You know, and not everybody can make this because so many people are working on different time zones. It's actually amazing what we do because when we start on the course at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Portugal time or English time, 4 o'clock mainstream European time, is actually 6 o'clock in the morning for 7 o'clock in the morning for John Grinder when he comes online. And then so we've got Mongia here. She's in Tunisia. What time is it in Tunisia now, Mongia? She's our Tunisian trainer.
Hi, Michael. It's the same time in London, so...
At the same time. So yes. When we go to India, we've got a class in India. When we start at 3 o'clock in the evening, they're starting at like 11 or 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. You know, so we do go across all of the time zones. So welcome, as I said. I'm just going to share my other screen with you and a PowerPoint so I can go through the session. This evening really is a bit to get to know each other, to answer any questions you have, but also to explain the course structure to you, you know, and the different options where you can take it and the different certification options. Does that sound like a plan, everybody? Does that sound like a good plan to you? Show me your thumbs if you think that's a good plan. Well, I hope you think it's a good plan because that is why you are here. So I'm just going to go now to my other laptop and then share the screen. Okay. Right, everybody see that clearly? Nice and clearly? Okay. You see that picture? Show me your thumbs, you see it? That's it, that's the end of the evening. Thank you very much for attending. Just joking, you'll get used to this really weird humor. Some people don't call it humor. Dave, do you want to pull the screen across a little bit, please, so I can see the people and the PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave. He's a start. It helps my vision here. So I've got, because you're all in front of me on a 65-inch screen. But that PowerPoint, I can see that nice and clearly now. And I can see the people. So NLP around the world, you know, falls into 3 courses. Now, this whole notion of NLP around the world came about partly because of the pandemic. We've always had a global audience. So in the last course that I ran in 2019, before we knew anything about COVID, before the world, do you remember pre-COVID times? You know, when we were, fair enough, Harry, thank you for letting me know. This recording will be published. Yeah, so there's plenty of, so if there's anything you miss, we will publish the recording. So in the pre-COVID times, you know, everyone was blissfully unaware of the possible constraints that a global pandemic could have on the world. That last course I ran is actually also in Portugal. I had people from 55 different countries, or we had travel to Portugal for our course. It was pretty amazing, you know, to have that. And I've always been very proud of our diversity that we have on the course, you know, and taking people, attracting people from all over the world, you know, and, you know, different ages and different socio-demographics as well. So I've always been very proud of that. You know, I've never wanted it to be just a, you know, a little company in London. I've always loved the international flavor of our courses. You only got to look at the screen to see, you know, and hear where, you know, all the people are coming from. Now, we always ran these events, you know, in a resort sort of place by the sea, and we developed these nice, cool brands, NLP in the sun, I had NLP at the spa, you know, and I'd done NLP training in Spain and Portugal for 9 years on the belt trot in a beach resort. You know, it's a nice life. You get up in the morning, you walk to the hotel or drive to the hotel, you know, you sit on the beach for a while, then you go and sit in a class of amazing people. You go out in the evening when we're done, you go on the beach or enjoy the area. Isn't that amazing way to make your living? But I thought in 2020, I would do something different. Because you know what? Change is good. And I've got to say, it was not my saying, but it's a well-known saying. If you always do what you've always done, Nicole, you know the other version of this, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. Yeah, so you've got to keep moving. So I thought in 2020, I'm going to get a castle. I didn't buy it, I hired it. Yeah, for 6 weeks, 6 courses, a castle in southern Italy. And I had this whole new brand, NLP at the castle. Now, do you think I'm a sort of guy who's going to go out and get a small castle? Just a little castle? No, I got the biggest castle in Puglia. Yeah, hired NLP at the castle and spent 8 months, some of you heard this story, spent 8 months marketing the event. It was going to be in May, and then we were just getting ready to do these pre-course webinars. And guess what happened? Well, you know what happened. Along comes COVID-19. No castle. So I'm like, man, I spent 8 months marketing this event, you know, and then we can't have people come to it. You know, and do you think, but I thought to myself, I will not stop, or I will not lie down for a virus. Yeah, I will not lie down for anything. So I thought, what can I do that is different? Now, prior to 2020, I had never done any online live training. We've done webinars like this, but not any training. And I didn't think really, I had what you call in NLP, a limiting belief, okay? Have you heard of these things called limiting beliefs? Something you believe this is where there's not necessarily any evidence for it. You just make an assumption. I had a limiting belief that NLP training could not be done effectively online. You needed face-to-face contact. Now, I made that assumption without actually ever testing it, just from my experience of various video conferences, because before the pandemic, you remember before the pandemic, it was always a bit awkward doing a video conference. You know, someone would say to you, let's do a Skype. Remember that? Not too long ago, let's do a Skype, yeah? And you had to struggle around your memory or in your notepads or wherever you write down looking for the password, yeah? Because you didn't use it so much. So I thought, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a crack. Online training. We're going to give everybody an online training course. And then when we can, we'll invite everybody back to a live venue, yeah? When we can actually do it. We carried that forward. Carroll is one of the people who attended actually in the May, way back in 2020, who's now going to be coming to Portugal this year. You know, so we've actually did the double bubble, if you like. We did an online course, and then the people could come and repeat it free. So the castle went out the window because people still couldn't travel. I hired a small hotel in Puglia. And then we started to think about, well, people still couldn't travel intercontinentally. And you'll see on your screen there, Jackie Nagy. If you hold up your hand, Jackie. So she's one of our our established NLP trainers. She's got her own company up in Winnipeg. I rang her up and I said, people, when you hear my voice, if you ever hear my voice on the phone, if I ever ring you up, yeah, out the blue, yeah, it's usually got a really good idea for you. But it does catch people sometimes on the hop or on the surprise. I said, Jackie, I've got this great idea. You know, why don't we could stream live to your venue, you know, get a small group, you know, and your people, you know, can get trained and have a live experience of a training by doing the exercises with each other. So Jackie became our first satellite ever in Winnipeg in 2020. And do you know what? It worked like a dream. And the online training works really well as well. You know, now again, Dr. Grinder, John Grinder and Carmen, they'd never done any video conferencing at all in their whole lives. You know, so I had to then, you know, we send over all the equipment, get them set up. They had reservations about it. You know, you've got to bear in mind, they had reservations whether it could work. They did it, and they absolutely love it as well. You know, John's 83 years of age. There are restrictions, obviously. So now, you know, he does his work from California and streams into all these venues around the world. So in many ways, where a lot of people in my business, the NLP business, went quiet in the pandemic, it just stopped. You know, I and my company and my team found new ways to do this. So now we've got people in India, we've got people in Tunisia, Guatemala, Canada, Portugal, here. I've missed one out. Philippines, been able to take our training without leaving their location. Isn't that good, everybody? Is that amazing? So here we go. That's the backstory. It's important that you know the backstory. This just didn't turn up one day. You know, we had to really work at it, you know, and again, a lot of people, like, for example, Corona stuck with us. She came to the course in 2020, yeah, when we was online, and now she's coming into the live venue. So, NLP around the world. Now look at all our satellites. There we have me, John, and Carmen at the top. We've got Carroll on the left in the Philippines. If you're here, by the way, any of these trainers, you would wave. We've got Dorothy in Guatemala. We've got Mongia, who is in Tunisia. We've got Jackie Nagy, who's in Canada. We've got Ridima, who's in India. And Laurie, who's currently in Australia. She is Italian, but she'll be here with my colleague Lola Larse as well. Isn't that an amazing group of people? So what we're going to do here, I'm going to cover a little bit about the region, so where we're going in Portugal and Croydon and London, for those of you coming to here. A little bit about satellite venues, the options, the course structures, that NLP in your home isn't relevant now, and the certification options. So let me make sure I've got them right. So here we have it. Now, logistics. So in the next week, you're going to get a pre-course questionnaire, which will tell us a little bit about your history, what you've done in life so far, your NLP experience, and your goals for the course. We do this because it helps us tailor the course, based on the people in the room. There's also a training agreement that we will send to you as well. So that's the documents. Now, if you're coming, the course is broken into two modules. The third module is international coaching, if you want to do that. Module 1's NLP core skills. Now, that's also a 5-day standalone program for people who just want to apply those core skills. Module 2 is new code NLP for coaching excellence. And again, that's if you've done module 1 and you come for module 2, that falls at NLP practitioner certification and the new code NLP practitioner certification. It's 13 days. If you're already trained in NLP, you just come for module 2, we need to see your certificate, that you've actually trained in NLP so far. Some people are on payment plans. Obviously, there's a little surcharge if you're on a payment plan, and it costs you a little bit more, just in case the people who are not on a payment plan are wondering why they're not. If you're on a payment plan, you obviously need to finish off your last payment. We need to know your language of choice for the course, that is, not in everyday life. And the options are, well, obviously some of you are getting translation here. Options are Portuguese. Rui is our Portuguese. He's our man in Portugal. We've got Nicole there. She's our Spanish translator. She's from Guatemala, and she is living in Barcelona, but we're coming down to Lagos, so she's doing the Spanish. We've also got a French translation. If you've got any French friends or French Canadian or friends or even Tunisian friends, there is a French translation as well. And we've also got an Italian translation. So if you know anybody who speaks these languages and want to learn NLP in these languages, let me know. I always say, because it's an excellent opportunity for people to learn a second language or third language, because you'll be surrounded by people who are talking different languages. And then the next steps after the course. So that is our agenda for the rest of the evening. So let's go to the next slide now. So welcome to Portugal. Yeah, there I am waving. Lagos is situated an hour's drive from Faro Airport. Now, again, Faro isn't always well served for intercontinental travel. Lagos and Faro is quite a popular resort in Europe, but I do know from America, Asia, Latin America, you may not get a direct flight, so you may have to go to Lisbon first. Now, if you fly into Lisbon, you can fly down, or I looked online today, there's a train, there's a 3.5-hour train journey. Public transport is very good in Europe, and into Portugal in particular, and it's safe just to get there, because anyone's worried about getting a train in Portugal or a bus, it's safe, it's quite a standard way for people to travel. So again, if you aren't from Europe at all, a couple of people who are sort of coming in from other continents have asked me, is it safe in Lagos? I'm going to get Karen in a moment to share a few things. It's very, very, very safe area and clean, and the food is great, and the seafood is lovely. Did we ever talk? I can't remember. Did I ever taste the wine down there, Karen? I'd give it a good go one night just to make sure I could make some recommendations. I went down to look at the venue and met Matthew and Karen, who were showing me around. And I just want to sample a bit of wine just to see what it tasted like, see if it was good. It is good. And it's also a bus journey. We also can get a bus from from Lisbon to Lagos, which is quite nice, really, because you see a bit of country. The train journey, it's nice, you see a bit of a country. The plane would be an hour. Now, when you get to Lagos, Karen, is there a bus or a train that goes from to Faro from Faro Airport to Lagos. Can you just come on, please? We spotlight Karen, please, Dave. Or I can spotlight her, actually. This is Karen Shears. She's from Texas originally. Lives in Lagos, has lived in Lagos, I think 20 years. I couldn't remember exactly how many. So when in the WhatsApp, I was a bit cautious. This is Karen, everybody. Give her a round of applause. She's your go-to person if you need any help or support locally. As an expat, she's used to going there from another part of the world. Now, Karen, I'm not sure. Can you get a bus or a train from Faro to Lagos?
So you can easily get a train from Faro to Lagos. And what you need to do is you take a taxi into the center of Faro, and it's a 10-minute ride, and it's probably less than 10 euros. And then the train to Lagos from Faro is a very picturesque train. It kind of goes along the coastline. And that's probably about an hour and a half because it's a local train that makes a lot of stops. But that would also be less than 10 euros. So it's really economic to take a bus from the airport. Yeah. Okay. Not the bus, so sorry, to take the train. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you just put me in a trance there. You just confused me, you know. So it's a good idea. When you get to, if you get to Lagos, if you get to, say, from Faro, you get a train down to Lagos, it's an hour and a half journey, or an hour in a taxi. You've got a WhatsApp group, so you can share details, you know, when you're landing, and you can share taxis as well. I mean, there's a lot of Ubers around. Do you have a local taxi driver at all, Karen, that you could refer to people?
I would recommend you just call the local taxi company. But what I'll do is I'll post on the WhatsApp group a link to the website for the train station, and I'll post the telephone number for the taxi company here also.
Amazing. All right. So, and again, if you want to know anything about, you know, things to do, or if you've got any special requirements, some people need to know about doctors and so forth. Karen is your lady. She's very established. She's ran a business in Lagos for years and very, very well connected. Okay, so that's travel. And again, I mean, it's nice. I mean, it's very easy to get a plane, you know, but as I say, in Europe, the trains, you know, the trains are very good, and it's a nice, just sit back on the train and, you know, look out the window. Right. Let's go to the next slide. So this is Hotel Villagale in Lagos. Now, there's a 10% discount here if you want to book through our promotion code, which isn't on that slide, which I'll put on in a minute. So Dave, if you want to put a promotion code, or Dennis, I think I saw you there. If you could put the promotion code in there. Now, again, it's a nice hotel. Yep. So it's a nice hotel, very good hotel. You have to, if you ask now questions about transport in the WhatsApp group, because then Karen can answer them directly. Because I want you to look, I want to stay focused on each topic. So any point you want to ask, we can ask at the end. Dave, you shut that chat log. Thank you. Okay, Hotel Lagos, yeah? Sorry, Hotel Villagale. It's a massive hotel. It's very comfortable. It's got massive swimming pools outside, and it's 5 minutes on the beach. You've got a beach view, you know, so it's a nice, I think it's a 5-star hotel. It's not far from the harbor. It's close to everything, you know. Or there's a good selection on Airbnbs around as well. You know, I booked my accommodation with Airbnb because I'm going to be there for 6 weeks. I'm going to be there for the Master Practitioner course as well. You know, sometimes, I mean, some people like a hotel. You know, I like, you know, it's like a hotel, always hoovering in the morning or vacuuming, they call it in America, banging your door, even though it says do not disturb. You know, so I like a bit of premises. I've got an Airbnb, but the hotel, I highly recommend it. It's a lovely, lovely hotel in a great venue. So you can see there, you can't actually see that, but if you look at the bottom slide, the slide on the far bottom right, you can't see it because it's positioned on the sea, but you can see the beach how close the beach is to the hotel there. So again, with the hours, 1 p.m. till 7 p.m. on week 1 and 3 p.m. till 9 p.m. week 2, you've got plenty of time to get on that beach. Like I say, if you've got skin like this, bring the factor. Yeah, bring the factor. You will need it. Yeah, I'm now well used of it, factoring up, you know, because I like my skin, but it's very delicate, a bit like me. Right, let's go to the next slide, please. I've got to do this myself. Okay, so there's the details for the hotel, and again, we'll put this into the chat box. Again, if you want to reserve it, and that's the address of it. It's all on our website as well. Now, Lagos was originally a maritime town, seafaring town, but now it's a popular tourist destination. There's beautiful beaches there, rock formations, and historical architecture in the old town. It's almost like two towns, really, because you've got the old town, which is traditional Portuguese architecture, and very nice, you know. And then you've got the beach resort as well, you know, which is very beachy, and a harbour. So you've got a bit of everything there. You know, if you're into the nature, there's great walks. As I say, I would, if I was coming a long way, and I would hang out for a few days before and after to experience the Portuguese culture if you're coming to Portugal. If you're coming to Croydon, you might want to hang out and experience a Croydon. Well, maybe not. Let's go to the let's go to the next slide, please. Oh, I'm doing it myself. There's the NLP Academy. That's the building I'm in now. I'm upstairs, just behind those windows. Now, beautiful building. Now, back in the day, look, we used to have loads of people coming to this area, to this town, and loads of people coming into the academy. That's my academy. Quite strange now, you sit here and it's a television screen, but it's good to have people. Now, if you're coming to London, I think obviously the people who are coming here are from the UK, so they know the UK pretty well. We're in South Croydon. Just to let you know, it's a suburban area where we are. So it's, people heard, Croydon sometimes gets a bad rap, you know, partly that's because of the media, you know, so whenever there's any social challenge going on in the country, that's universal across the country, they'll always pick Croydon as a case study. So let's say there's an increase in gun violence or pregnancies in young women or whatever. They say, now we're going to go to Croydon, and we kind of get a bad rap, but it's a very good place overall. And where we are is in South Croydon. It's a suburb. It's a residential area. There's actually very nice restaurants and bars around here to eat and drink in as well. And again, if you're coming down here, the hotels are good, but locally, there's a lot of people doing Airbnb now. And again, you know, a lot of people, as I say, doing Airbnb within a few minutes walk of our centre. So in Croydon, there's going to be Laurie. There's Laurie and Lola, the double L's, yeah. And John, Carmen, and I will stream live here into Croydon, okay? Let's get this clear, everybody. I may want to make sure this is very clear that I am live in Portugal, yeah, in person, and John and Carmen stream in on the big screen. Again, we tested this in the pandemic. It works very, very well. Good stuff so far? Hoo-ha, hoo-ha, hoo-ha. Now I'm going to show you something, yeah? Now look, I am so proud of this, okay? NLP around the world. I'm going to tell you the, I'm going to tell you the little why I'm so proud of this. I'm so proud of all our trainers. I did say earlier, we got Carroll in the Philippines, Dorothy in Guatemala, Mongia in Tunisia, Jackie Nagy in Canada, Rina Majua in India, Laurie Kamako down here in Italy, and Lola Larse, sorry, down here in the UK from Italy, and Lola Larse. Now, I'm going to take the PowerPoint down just to share why I'm so proud of this and how far I think NLP has come. Now, when I got into NLP, I was 31 years old, my early 30s, yeah? You know, I used to own a financial services company. I'd done very well in financial services. I originally learned NLP. So my intention was to use it in business, to be more successful in business, make money, make money, make money. You know, I thought I was of the thing, I don't even ever had this perception. If you make more money, everything will be okay. You know, it's that old chestnut, that's not true. The money's handy, but everything doesn't work out because you make more money. So one thing that NLP did for me, although I went in it for a business intention, you know, it helped me reconnect with myself, to be fair, and to take off that financial services armor. You know, it helped me to show a bit of my vulnerability and be connected to myself. You know, so when I got into it, I really got into it. I immersed myself in it. And I was 31. And at the time, I remember thinking about the people in it at the top had one thing in common. I used to call them, I hope I don't nobody get offended by this. I used to call them the old white men, yeah? Because it was full of only old white men. You know, at the time, I was a young white man, but it was full of old white men. And there's a lot of conflict between these old white men. There's a surprise. You've only got to look at the state of the world. Yeah. So there's a lot of conflict between these old white men. And I remember thinking, now I live in the UK, yeah? So UK is a very diverse culture. Yeah. So I remember thinking there's no black people, there's no Asian people at the high end in NLP. There's no gay people. You know, and I just wondered why I couldn't quite work out why such a field that promotes liberalism and open-mindedness was full of old white men. Now, I am now 59 years of age. You're supposed to look shocked, everybody. So I say that again, yeah? You've got to look shocked for me to continue. I am now 59 years of age. Well, you're not very good at looking shocked, so we'll give it a go again, shall we? All right? So you're supposed to go, what, really? Right, should we do it again? Yeah. I am now 59 years of age. Now you're doing it. And guess what? Out of the big players, I'm still one of the youngest. Yeah, that's worrying. Yeah, and I'm becoming. I can't call myself. I'm not going to call myself old yet, but I'm getting into that category of being an elder guy in the field. Yeah, so if you look at my screen of satellite trainers, there's not one man there. All right, and it wasn't consciously chosen that way. These were chosen, handpicked by me for their skill and ability. Yeah, and just look at them again. I'm very proud to be bringing, you know, all of these people from different cultures, you know, different ages, different backgrounds, and different ethnicities to the world. I am so proud of these team that I have built. So we're going to get them on the spotlight now. Dave, if you're there, if you can spotlight Mongia, Dorothy, Jackie. They're the ones that are here at the moment. Hey, Samantha, nice to see you there. I saw you. I know you haven't got your camera on. And I saw, and Nalini as well, who was on the intro the other day. I saw her there. Right, Dave, if we spotlight Jackie Nagy, Dorothy and Monjil, so they can see, there they are. So Dorothy, say hello to the people, please.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dorothy. I'm going to be hosting the satellite in Guatemala.
That's it. Now, in case you haven't worked it out, because there is a similarity. If you look at Nicole and Dorothy, you might see they look alike and smile in a very similar way. They are mother and daughter. So they're having a little catch up with each other. Isn't that lovely? Because Nicole's in Barcelona And Dorothy is in Guatemala, so they're going, hi. Right, Jackie, do you want to introduce yourself?
I
She's in
do. Hi,
Canada.
everyone. I'm Jackie Nagy from Winnipeg, Canada. Happy to be here and happy to see so many wonderful faces on the screen from, gosh, how many countries around the world? So this
That's
is
amazing.
really, really exciting.
Thank you, Jackie in Canada. Let's go to Mongia now in Tunisia.
Hi, everybody. Happy to be here and to see all the beautiful faces. I'm Mongia, and I will be hosting the satellite in Tunisia for the first time. So I am very
Amazing. Amazing. Now, the others aren't here because of time zones and business commitment, but hoo-ha, hoo-ha, hoo-ha. Now, the great thing about this as well, you've all got, some of you are on your repeat already, yeah, but you've all got a free repeat option. Yeah, so if you do it this year, no matter what system you take it in, you can come back next year and do it again, no questions asked, you know, and again, we really keep that commitment. One thing is keeping track of everybody actually through the years, you know, so if you do it at home this year, you can come to our venue next year as well. So I'm going to go back now and share my screen. Now we will give you, if you email us and tell us your venue option, we will then give you the address. Details before to book your accommodation. If you email me, please, and satellite venues, remember to give me the exact addresses and details on how to get there from out of your country. So there we have it. London, Winnipeg, sorry, London, Lola and Laurie, Winnipeg, Jackie Nagy, Tunisia, Mongia, Pune in India, Ridima, Philippines, Metro Milan, Manila, I should say. That's a typo there. Unless that's, and Guatemala City, Dorothy Grimler. So they're the locations, and of course, Portugal and online. So if you're coming to Croydon, we're 40 minutes from Gatwick Airport, or 20 minutes from 20 minutes from Victoria Station. And I say South Croydon is a residential area. So now let's look at the course structure. All right. So module 1, 8th to 12th of May, is core skills NLP. Now, as you're aware, NLP that's a problem looking at yourself all the time, you know. When you think you're something wrong, you have to keep fixing it. So, you may be aware NLP was originally created in the 70s by John Grinder and Richard Bandler. And they worked together from 1972 through to 1979 and 1980. And, you know, if you watch my video I put out there the other day on social media, you know, I referenced Paul McCartney and John Lennon. You know, all familiar with the Beatles? The band, that is, not the insect. Scousers, they come up, anyone from up north here? They come from a place called Liverpool. You know, if you've ever been up there, they talk in a more unusual fashion than me, and that's saying something. But anyway, the Beatles formed primarily around a unique partnership between John Lennon and Paul McCartney. You know, and it kind of it went its course. If you actually want to watch a pretty remarkable film, watch that film, Let It Be. Yeah, or if you watch the Beatles rooftop concert, they did their last ever concert. They were arguing like cat and dog in a run up to this concert. But you see the way they played those music together, it's just stunning. And this was Bandler and Grinder as well. It was an intense partnership, highly creative partnership. Yeah, like the Lennon and McCartney one. But they clashed, you know, as they would. They're creative geniuses. Creative geniuses just don't accept things. They force things out there. That's what makes them creative geniuses. So after 8 years, it had done its distance, you know, and they split up. But that's what most people call NLP, but that's what we call classic NLP. And this is what I will teach in these core skills. And it's a standalone module. Some people take this as a standalone module. It's a very good business module. This is where you're going to learn all those core patterns, rapport and communication systems, simple change patterns, language patterns, all that cool stuff. Now, I will be live in live in Lagos teaching this. This is not available at satellites. So if you are doing a course of a satellite, module 1 will be online, okay? And then you go to satellite for module 2. Is that clear? Show me your hand if that's nice and clear. Good stuff, and good stuff. Module 2 is new code NLP. So in that period after, when Bandler and Grinder split up, they both took time out. Richard went down to Hawaii, hung out in Hawaii, took a time off. John went climbing, went into the nature where he lives in a very rural area. You know, and when they came out, you know, down the line, sort of with new ideas. You know, and in that time out, John began to ask himself the question, he's now 10 years after the start of NLP, if he were to do it again, with the benefit of hindsight, yeah, what would he do differently? Because when he looked at it, he realized there's a few things that he could have done differently. But he wouldn't have known it at the time, because you have to do it first. So then he started looking at the field of NLP as well. And you might have seen this out there with other people who have trained in NLP, that he saw a lot of people were really good at helping other people create change in their life. They're like miracle workers by applying NLP patterns to help others. But their own lives were a mess. So, you know, they weren't applying it to themselves. So John sought to correct that in developing a whole load of new patterns. He teamed up with Carmen Bostic in 1988. They were originally doing work in corporate. John had never worked in the corporate world, you know, and he didn't know anything about business. Now, you've got to bear in mind, John is a highly accomplished man, and as a genius and a highly accomplished man like he is, he's intense. So when he was 24 years of age, I think 24, he got married, graduated university, and joined the Special Forces Service, the Green Berets, in the army, all in the same weekend. You join the army, get married, and graduate all in the same weekend. That's John Grinder. You know, and John rose, you know, to the top in NLP. Sorry, he rose very high up in the army as an officer. You know, he saw some things in the US Army that he started to doubt and have conflicts with, got an honorable discharge, did his PhD in linguistics, became quite an accomplished linguistics, worked undercover as well. By the time he's 31, 32, he created NLP with Richard Bandler. So he had done a lot, John, but he had never worked in business. And when he met Carmen, she was an accomplished businesswoman who was a CEO of an organization with 37 subsidiaries. And you know, you get a bit interested in something that you don't know. That's probably why some of you are here. You know, you want to look, you're coming out of your comfort zone. So John and Carmen applied NLP and new code NLP in business, you know, for 8 or 9 years. So when you meet Carmen as well, I mean, John, Carmen, and I are very different. You know, that's what you want. If you had 3 people being the same, what's the point? So it's our difference that makes this course very special. You know, John holds a unique place as the co-creator of NLP Classic and New Code NLP. You've got to bear in mind, I started from scratch like you. When I worked in this business, my name wasn't well known. You know, so I've got a lot of experience of applying this across different contexts, business, personal, coaching, you know, as well as building, as well as applying it to being an entrepreneur. And then Carmen, again, she's got her background, you know, originally as a school teacher, a lawyer, been a lawyer, yeah, and then an accomplished businesswoman. So we've got a great history. You know, when we add it, it makes me feel even older than I am. Did I tell you I was 59? You're not getting used to looking shocked yet. Well done, Dorothy. Well done, Dorothy. We've got over 110 years of collective experience, you know, so that's a lot of experience. So this module 2 is all the latest patterns. And John and Carmen and I are still developing them. Jackie Nagy has been with us. She came to Croydon, Centre of the Known Universe, from Winnipeg. Yeah, in 2008, is that right, Jackie? 2008, so we go back a long way. She took all our courses, became a trainer in Winnipeg, set up her own company, and she's come on our recent program, which is called New Code for Extraordinary Coaching, the program to step up from what you're doing. And how much that material was completely different, Jackie? Brand new, yeah? So John and Carmen are always developing. They develop a lot of new, actually, John's current interest is applying NLP for health and well-being, and actually setting up collaborations with the medical field, because he's worked a lot with people who've got health conditions. So he's written some new papers, you know, on explicit and tacit knowledge. Tacit knowledge is the knowledge of our body and our unconscious, and explicit is what we know about our body and the unconscious, and teaming them up. So new codes for coaching excellence. John and Carmen stream everywhere for 5 days. It's an 8-day program, yeah? Is that 8 days? 8 days, yeah? Just count them fingers. 8 days. So it's 8 days in total. John and Carmen teach 5 of those days. I teach 2 of those days. And the last day is the evaluation, which is the 21st. Now, if you are, just a lot of people ask me the times we finish on the last day. So if you're in Europe, if you're in a venue in Europe, which is Portugal or UK, we run those on the 21st of May. We run 10 a.m. in the morning till 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Probably earlier, but I'd rather say 4, because then, you know, it gives me slack time. Okay, so if you are at the venue in Portugal or the UK, 10 till 4. But other venues are the same hours. And these are 3 till 9 p.m. Again, it's a bit weird, those hours. Well, they're not weird, they're just what they are. Because that's 7 o'clock in the morning for John Grinder, and 3 o'clock in the afternoon for us. It's like 8 or 9 o'clock at night for the people in India. So we're all very, very flexible. And that's the core structure. So you could take module. Let's look at the certifications that come from this. If you get, oh, I'm used to having someone sitting over there. So these are things you're going to learn on module 1. I won't go through them all now because they're all on our website. But basically, this is classic NLP. Rapport, communication systems, calibration, language patterns, hypnotic communication. You know, how to understand yourself, how to be able to connect with people, you know, a little bit more deeply, you know, because you know how they structure the world. NLP is all about structure. It's not about content. It's about how things are structured. It's not about the function of why something is built. It's about how it's built. But it's not about what that does. It's how it does it. That's what NLP is. NLP was originally, the question of NLP was originally created from modeling. Modeling means assimilating behavioral patterns of high performers, yeah, and bringing them into you and coded them. So John Grinder and Richard Bandler, it was remarkable, really, what they did. They coded and modeled three geniuses, Fritz Perls, Milton Erickson, and Virginia Satir. And again, that period in the early 70s in California, you know, California had come out of America anyway, and also here, they had come out of the summer of love. You know, America was angry, you know, in the early 70s. You've got to bear in mind that the assassinations in America in the 60s, it knocked a lot of free thinking right off the perch. You know, and the end Bobby Kennedy and Malcolm X, I think, is enough for people. So by the 1970s, California was angry. No one was going around with flowers in their hair. Yeah, they were angry, and Grinder had left the army and had become a protester. You know, an activist. You know, so he was protesting against the Vietnam War, and also against the racial discriminations in California and across America at that time. The energy behind NLP was very much activism, you know, very much activism in a university down there in California. It's ironic we still face the same problems. So new code NLP, this is a whole upgrade. You know, NLP is brilliant, but new code takes it to a new level. It doesn't supersede it, it complements NLP. And this is active. If you're a coach and also you're seeking to improve your own life, new code NLP is easy to implement. You don't get caught up in people's content. It's an absolute process model where you manipulate processes in a person's mind and body. You create processes for them to perform at a more effective level. I love it. Yeah, and it's a really cool piece of work. And this is what makes our course different than anyone else. You know, in a lot of places around the world, the standard of NLP has dropped so low that in India, for example, you can get an NLP practitioner certificate in 3 days. There's an online company in America that will give you an online certificate for just sending you a load of, downloads, and don't even assess you. So NLP is around the world, has gone down. We haven't dropped our standards. Yeah, so ours is still a 13-day program. And to get the full certification, you've still got to come in the flesh. Talking of certifications, let me tell you about certification. So live training, if you do part 1 and part 2, this is about part 1 and 2 now, in live in Portugal or any satellite class, well, the only satellite class you can do it in, but you can't actually do it in any satellite class, part 1 and 2. So if you do part 1 and 2 live in Portugal, you'll get an NLP practitioner, classic code, and a new code NLP for Coaching Excellence certificate on the basis you pass the evaluation that we do in the course. Okay? Is that clear? Live attendees. Now, if you come to a satellite venue, there's a blended training where you do part 1 online and part 2 live in Portugal or a satellite class. And you get an NLP practitioner, classic code, and a new code NLP practitioner for Coaching Excellence program. You do part 1 at home and part 2 in the venue. Now, the people who come into London here, I've got a special, you've got a slightly different arrangement, which I don't need to go into here right now. But if, say, somebody can't get to the whole of part 2, the minimum you can get to is the last 3 days. We can make sure that you've got the skills and we can assess you in person, yeah? But our preference would be the minimum attendance would be all of part 2 online, because you're going to be with people, sorry, all of part 2 in person, because you're going to be with people and you want to practice this in the flesh, okay? So all of the satellites will have part 1 at home and then part 2 in the venue. And So you get for full certification, NLP practitioner, classic code, new code, NLP practitioner for coaching excellence. Is that clear, everybody? Nice and clear? Show me your thumbs. Clear, clear, and clear. Good stuff. Let's go to the next one. Online training. Oh, by the way, if anyone does part one, either in the physical world with me in Portugal or online, only part one, you get a core skills diploma, NLP diploma. Part 1 and 2, online, you get an NLP classic code diploma and a new code NLP diploma for coaching excellence and a free upgrade next year. I didn't want to split my market or reduce the quality of NLP by offering online certification for full practitioner program. We need to see you in action. Now, you do know about the coaching, new code for coaching excellence, which is part 3. Now, what you do at part 3 is, you go home or back to where you work or whatever. Thank you. So, are you going, Dorothy? Oh, ciao, ciao. Nice to see you, Dorothy, I mean.
Nice to see everybody. Nice to see you, Michael. Thank you so much.
Nice to see you, Dorothy. Have a great day. So 4 to 12 weeks after the course, you get a client to your premises, you put the Zoom camera on, and one of our assessors will assess you doing a coaching session with your clients. So that's an extra, most of you have enrolled for that, but if you haven't, you can do that. And you can go for the international coaching, even if you've done part 1 and 2 online, because we evaluate you in the flesh. Okay? Is that nice and clear? Clear? Good stuff. Good stuff. I've covered nearly everything now. So what's next? We will send you the pre-course questionnaire. We need to know what language you want it in to take the course in. All participants will get a physical manual, who take part in person, and a online manual or a virtual manual or PDF if you are taking the course online. And obviously, we need to know what language you want them in. Out of the language we've offered, unfortunately, we can't yet provide it in Egyptian, Tamir, or anyone else who's coming in from there. But we hopefully one day will. And then we're going to give you a trading agreement, which just states the terms of what we offer you and what you can do after the program. Okay. Now I'll tell you about the things that come next to help you prepare. Now, some people are going to shoot or shooting off already. So we've actually come down quite a lot. So I just want to hear now, I want you to type in the chat box, just where you're from. And also, so type in the chat box there, where in the world you are from, so we get a sense. Because as I say, some people are leaving and I want to, yeah. UK, Sam's from the UK. Candy's from London. Mary Joyce from Kuwait. Nalini is from, I'm supposed to go too quick. Canada, Austria, Amsterdam, UK. Canada moving to Algeria. Salim. Mexico. Romania. Toulouse in France. Sandra from Mexico, but living in Norway. Faisal Buktagay, welcome, in Tunisia. Rita is from Lisbon. Nitu is from India. We've got quite a few people from India. And it's quite late over there, so I appreciate you being here. I've got Jihain from Tunisia. Welcome. Tarek from Egypt. Pleasure to have you here, Tarek. I know I spoke to you on the telephone. Glad you could get everything sorted. Dennis is from Istanbul. Macedonia, Victoria. Hi, Victoria. I can see you there. Sorry, I didn't greet you. Where is she? Hey, Victoria. Nice to see you. You're welcome. You're welcome, Harry. All this is going to be available. I'm going to put it out there on YouTube anyway. Elias from Colombia. Nalini is from New York. I think upstate New York. Welcome, Nalini. Where are you, Nalini? Where's your camera off? There you are. How you doing? And that's it. So welcome. Now you get a sense as to how this is, yeah? Isn't that amazing? And that's not everybody. You know, and we are, from wherever we are in the world, we all have one thing in common. Yeah? If you look at that screen, we're all amazingly beautiful, eh? As well as that, we've got a vision and a goal that we won't stand still in our lives. We want to continue to improve our lives, yeah, and help others to do the same. So it doesn't matter where people are from in this world, in terms of their goals and intentions, that's what bonds us. You know, and I always say, when you see everybody gets on our courses, that if our courses were a model for the world, you know, there'd be a lot more peace and respect in this world between different countries, cultures, and religions. We really are a great model for that. And as I say, it's my job and John's job and Carmen's job to give you the skills for you to reach your goals and exceed them. You know, I don't want to. I actually, at the end of the course, I don't want to live up to your expectations. I want to really exceed your expectations. That's my goal. Yeah, and my goal is always that you get your goals. You know, because that's why I think that's why I've stayed in business longer than everybody. Because this is when I do this, obviously I get a great deal of satisfaction out of it. I say to the people that I've got the best job in the world because I created this job for me. You know, and the beauty is I could do anything I like within anything I want to do with this career and profession that I've got. I worked at it, but I created this job for me. You know, so a lot of my son, he's getting married in 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time. My daughter, she's getting married next year. And the relevance of this is both of their in-laws, so my son's future father-in-law and my daughter's future father-in-law. There is a reason for this, it's not just going on about my family. They're about my age, but they're both retired. So they just recently. Yeah, so we get together every now and again, you know, the older men in the families, although I must say I do look a bit younger than them. Ha, ha, ha. And they're retired. I couldn't conceive myself doing that yet. I wouldn't mind taking a bit more time out, you know, because in that pandemic, I worked my arse off. Yeah, just to keep, I worked very hard to keep everything afloat, you know, but I'm not ready for retirement. And my sister always says to me, you know, you're not ready to hang up your pipe and slippers, you know, no chance. And that's because I love what I do. Yeah, and most people who work with me, a lot of them, or used to work here in the office, we used to travel all over this world as a unit. We're in their early 30s. You know, and I had as much energy, if not more energy, than them. You know, so my goal is for you to get your goal, whatever that might be. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean, well, it doesn't mean it at all, that I'm going to hold your hand or babysit you or nanny you. Yeah, I will push you, as will John, as will Carmen, yeah? But we'll push you in a respectful fashion, I mean, because we want you to go right out of your comfort zone. So I'm going to tell you this may not always be, this will always be a stimulating ride, but it may not always be easy. Also, when you do NLP, you're going to bump into yourself, okay? And I hope you bump into yourself rock hard, bang, yeah? Because you might have been avoiding the real you for a little while. Anyone feel they got lost? Or you're getting lost? Yeah, so if you might be avoiding yourself, the real you. So you're going to bump into yourself. so you got, if you're, whichever program you're on, you've got 8 or 13 days to totally apply all of these applications on yourself. And I guarantee you that will change your life. And I do not mean that as a cliche. You will change. How can you not change having spent hanging out 13 days with John Grinder, Carmen Bostic, Clair, and myself? Now, many of you, I just want to talk about a couple of things there. You might be familiar with, I'm running a session this April the 1st called Conversations with John Grinder. All right, well, John Grinder's running this session. It's like a jamming session. So what we're going to do is we get each chose the subjects, get 3 or 4 people up on the screen and engage with John Grinder in conversation on these subjects. Okay. Has anyone registered for that? You've registered for that, Maria? All right. Okay. So now, this on the website is £199. Yeah, it's on April the 1st. We're currently selling at 79. Maria, I've got to give you 20 quid back. So this is an offer to you. I'm going to, quid means a pound, by the way. All right, in case you're not from the UK, I shouldn't be using this slang. 40, so I'm 30, £29 actually. So I'll give you that. If you want to register for that, we'll give it to you for £49. Dennis, if you create a payment link, please, and put it in the WhatsApp group. If you want to connect with John and see and hear him, the conversations, he's picked some quite complex subjects. I know there's a couple of doctors here. A couple of things he's picked are on the medical applications. I look like a child now, don't I, sitting down there? There you go. So that's one thing. Now, some of you have asked me, what's the difference in a practitioner and a master practitioner program? And again, some of you I know have already booked on to the master prac. So if you like Portugal, or if you've done your course online, yeah, and you haven't completed your certification, you can come and do the masters in June, and we'll evaluate all of your learning in June, if you want to. Yeah, that is. So I'm just going to show you my screen now. Well, not that one. Or that one. So Master Practitioner is 5 to 17th of June. And comes into 2 modules, NLP Mastery Part 1. And again, you could do just Part 1. This is all about modeling. This Part 1 is at the end of the week, you do a modeling project. And then Part 2 is all about high performance coaching to a completely different level. I don't want to go into it right now because this is not a sales pitch, but it's something to think about. You know, there is a special offer that we do put out to people. So if you want to talk about options for master practitioner, some people, because if you're coming a long, long way across the world, you will hang out for 2 more weeks and then we do the masters. That's it. You can talk to me. You can WhatsApp me in that group. I'm quite responsive to WhatsApp, so you can WhatsApp me. Just bear in mind, yeah, that we're all on different time zones. And I made a mistake the other day calling someone in Canada accidentally at 3:30 in the morning for them. The guy weren't very happy, but I misdialed from my phone. He had a similar number to somebody else. Remember, we are on different time zones. But if you engage with me in that WhatsApp group, I'm pretty proactive. If you've got any questions in there, I am pretty proactive as well. We got a brand new streaming service called NLPondemand.com. So do you want to put that in the chat box, Dave? All the practitioner information's in that streaming service. Yeah, and in modular format, it's relatively cheap. It's like up to £8 to £10 a module, £8 to £15 a module. The whole practitioner course is in there for £119, and the master prac is in there as well. Now, again, it's a really well developed package. The interface needs a bit of work, but it's very functional. So all of that's available on our streaming service if you want to prepare for the course. Yeah, so NLPondemand.com. Some of those videos were shot quite a long time ago. So you will see what I looked like when I was in my 30s, actually. And you're going to say not a lot, not very different at all, Michael. So I can open the floor now. First, I want to really thank all of you for choosing the NLP Academy. I'm very grateful. I recognize it's a big investment, firstly. Even though it's really good value, it is extraordinary value, it's still a big investment. And also, it's time out for you. And for many people, it's a very long journey across the world. So I really respect your commitment to yourself for investing in yourself. I always respect people who do that. But as a business owner, I'm very grateful and respectful that you've chosen my company or our company for your training. I guarantee you will not regret that. You know, if you were looking at other people, thank you, dear. I will guarantee you will not regret this choice. And I will work very hard. I will work my arse off to make sure that you get your goals. Yeah, I commit fully to these courses, as does John and as does Carmen. We commit fully to you, and all you've got to do is commit to yourself. That's all you've got to do. Nothing else. If you commit 100% to yourself, we will commit to you as well. With that joint commitment, we're going to have a fantastic experience, and you will fly out of the venue wherever you have taken that venue. I just want to acknowledge you and thank you for choosing the NLP Academy. Thank you, Salim. It's nice to have you here as well. I'm open. Thank you very much. Now, I'm open for any questions, you know, relative to what I've said here tonight. You know, so any questions to that, I am open, and then we can wrap up. I will keep it. We can all keep in contact in the WhatsApp group. Dennis, perhaps you could put the link for the WhatsApp group here, just in case people haven't got it. As I say, the next steps will be going to get a pre-course questionnaire. That'll come out next week. You know, fill that in, get it back to us. If you're only going for module 2, you did your certificates, your practitioner somewhere else, get that back to us as well. So any questions? Preguntas, por favor. See, let's go to a chat box. Okay. Has this been useful, everybody? Useful? Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. It's been a pleasure to see you all here online. Again, thank you for giving me an hour and a half of your time. I'm very respectful to people who in India or other parts of Asia as well, where it's after midnight there, I believe, or as close to midnight. I'm very grateful for my translators. We love translators who are here. You can feel like Nicole's energy just coming off that screen. You know, I love it. So that's Nicole down in Barcelona. Dorothy used to do a translation. Nicole has taken over. She's also a client. Both of my translators, by the way, are educational NLP consultants at the NLP Academy. Yeah, so they do the role here when they take a lot of your calls. So Nicole deals all our Spanish and Latin American clients. And Rui, he deals with all our Portuguese and Brazilian clients. And sometimes they will go into the other parts of the world as well, but it's their domain. So they're very flexible. I think both, I know Nicole's going to be down there in Lagos. I'm not sure whether Rui, because he's got some personal stuff going on. But I want to thank you guys. Well done and well done and well done. It's been my pleasure to see you all here tonight. As I say, thank you for being brilliant and thank you for being who you are and continue to be brilliant because you or I will see you in May. Yeah, in the meantime, or I'll see you in a conversations event with John. In the meantime, let's stay connected. Thank you so much, everybody. Over and out from Croydon town. Hoo-ha, hoo-ha, hoo-ha. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much.